Hello, everyone, and welcome back to American Ultras Talk. Next week, the USA U17s will start their CONCACAF U17 championship run, where if they make it out of the group in first place, they will qualify for the U17 World Cup that will take place in the fall of 2025. Now, since the tournament's about to start, we decided to be a good idea to look through the roster, point out some notable names, maybe some players who weren't released as well, and just overall give a quick preview of the tournament and what we can expect from the USA U17s in these 3 games. Now, this video is a little bit overdue. It probably should have been out a few days ago, but we've had a lot of scheduling conflicts, as you guys probably know. Yuri has not been available for a while. He should be back for Stockwatch next week. That's the plan at least, but no guarantees. But anyways, we'll have a lot of content coming next week to make it up for you. So let us know in the comments what types of things do you want to see, and more specifically, do you want to see post-match analysis for all of these U17 games, since they will be available to the public to watch on cable TV. Now, with all that out of the way, let's just dive into the roster and start with the 3 goalkeepers. Jack Courtcamp from Sporting Kansas City, who just signed a homegrown contract this offseason. William McKay from Real Salt Lake, who's gotten significant game time with Real Monarchs, the MLS Next Pro team over in Utah. And Owen Pratt for LA Galaxy, who actually made his MLS Next Pro debut for Galaxy's second team in their playoff game this season, which was a little bit interesting. Nothing really much to say here. These are 3 of the top 4 keepers. The only one who's a notable omission here is Aiden Stokes from the New York Red Bulls. Also has seen a lot of game time in MLS Next Pro, but he's also been with Wales's youth national teams. He's been with England's youth national teams. It's likely that he just doesn't want to fully commit to a national team now and provisionally cap tie himself, which this tournament will do for all of these players. So it's understandable that he's not here. Realistically, it's not like we're going to need him much. Courtcamp is fine, McKay is fine, Pratt is fine. I expect it's going to be Courtcamp to start. Maybe McKay plays a game or 2, but ultimately, we're fine with these 3 goalkeepers. They're rated very highly, and to be honest, considering the level of opposition, they shouldn't have much to do anyway. Now, on to the defenders, and we start with Christopher Cupps, who's usually the captain of this group. He's a Chicago Fire player. I believe signed a professional deal with them. He's been with the Chicago Fire first team in preseason up until he had to go to this camp. He's a center back, very highly rated. Jordan Griffin from the Philadelphia Union and Pedro Guimaraes from Orange County SC in USL Championship. Both of these guys are left backs. Griffin has been slowly rising onto the ranks in the past few months. He really hadn't gotten much of a look with the group until the previous couple of camps, but clearly he's done enough to impress. He's also gotten a couple appearances with Union 2 in MLS Next Pro. Should be in for somewhat of a breakout season at that level this coming year. And, of course, was an integral part to the Union's U17 team that did so well in MLS Next last season. Pedro Guimaraes is a similar story, although he's a little bit more established as a first-team player. He's already gotten significant minutes under his belt for Orange County in USL Championship. He's usually the starting left back. He's actually one of, I think, 2 players who's been at every single U17 camp this cycle. So expect him to start, expect him to play a lot of minutes, but Griffin is definitely a good backup for him. Now you have Ramis Hamuda and Enrique Martinez, 2 more center backs. Hamuda in particular is a pleasant surprise that he's here, another USL player from Birmingham Legion. He's been omitted from this group in the past. I do suspect that maybe he's only here because of some other players not getting released, but it's still a nice surprise. He's a very highly rated player, made the move to Birmingham about a year ago from Sporting Kansas City's academy, and he's gotten, I would say, significant game time for the Legion's first team last season in USL, so he's definitely ready for the level. Enrique Martinez is another highly rated center back from Galaxy's academy, has done very well with their U17 team. Hopefully he can have a little bit of a breakout in Next Pro this coming season. 3 very solid center back options here. And then Gio Villa is the sole right back from Real Salt Lake's academy. He's definitely the top right back within this age group, no questions asked. I suspect Griffin will serve as sort of a backup to both fullback sides since there's only 3 fullbacks, but Villa and Guimaraes are going to play the bulk of the minutes, as they should. Villa in particular is one of the top defending prospects, in my opinion, in this age group. For all 3 positions, right back, center back, or left back. Such a good defender, 1v1, offers a little bit going forward as well. So a very solid defensive group. The only players who are notable that really aren't here, Ian James, another Sporting Kansas City homegrown, signed at the same time as Jack Courtcamp. He's not here. It's possible that he wasn't released, or either that or he wanted to focus on first team preseason because he was training with them, being a new homegrown player. And other than that, it's basically just a few fullbacks. Oliver Tan just officially made his move to Famalicão in Portugal. He had been in a bit of an interesting club situation for a while, but he finally got it sorted out. He's now Europe-based, as you can probably see by the roster. All of these players are based in the USA, so all of the European-based players are not here. That's why he's not here. Same for Wesley Okadua from Wolves, Ian Barrett Underwood, who's been with the group in the past, Victor Vandenbroek from Genk. All these types of players are based abroad, so that's probably the main reason why they're not here. There is also an alternate from the center backs who's here, Micah Harris from the Houston Dynamo. He probably won't play a lot. I mean, the alternates are just there in case of emergency, in case someone gets injured or something like that. But ultimately, he's another one who maybe you can look out for. Now, onto the midfielders, and here's the big name, Maxi Carrizo from NYCFC. He'll probably serve as the captain, either him or Christopher Cups, for this age group, especially since we don't have Calvin Sullivan in this camp. Carrizo is going to be, by far, the number one player to watch here. I mean, he's such an incredible talent. He's been signed as a homegrown for New York City FC since the day he turned 14, and he's been kicking on with their second team since then. A key starter for them in their playoff run in MLS Next Pro last season. He should be the one to carry the team. He should play probably at least start 2 of the matches. I expect we'll rotate in one of them since there's not a lot of time in between games, but Carrizo is going to be the focal point of the attack. Definitely the number one player to watch out for in this camp. Kellen LeBlanc is also here, kind of at a similar position. He can play the 8, he can play the 10 from the Philadelphia Union. I believe this actually is his first look with the USA U17s, at least in this cycle, so congrats to him for making it. I believe it's probably because his teammate at the club level, Calvin Sullivan, was not released, but LeBlanc has had a breakout year of sorts with the U17s for the Union, kind of like Jordan Griffin, and has gotten some minutes in MLS Next Pro, even scored a brace in one of his games, so a well-deserved call-up. I'm curious to see what he can do at this level. Luka Moisa is here from Real Salt Lake, a sick traditional CDM. I expect he'll probably start alongside Jude Terry, who you can see from LAFC. Terry is another one of the top prospects. I'd say him and Carrizo are the 2 most notable players to watch out for in this camp. Luka Moisa, in all honesty, has not been great with the U17s when he's been with the group in the past, but is still one of the premier midfield prospects within this age group, and I expect he'll have a little bit of a bounce back because, again, the competition level in this tournament is not very high. Cooper Sanchez and Cristiano Oliveira are the other players. Atlanta United player Cooper Sanchez and Oliveira from the New England Revolution. Both of them have gotten MLS Next Pro minutes. They're more traditional 8s. I expect we'll see one of them start 2 of the games. Maybe the other one will start the other. It'll probably be a 6 between Terry or Moisa, an 8 between Sanchez and Oliveira, and then a 10 between Carrizo and LeBlanc. That would at least be my guess for the starting lineup. Both of these are very solid players. Oliveira in particular is one that I'm looking to make a breakout in MLS Next Pro this coming season. Very strong midfield group. I would say probably the strongest positional group of anything on this roster. So definitely keep an eye out for these players. Now onto the forwards, and you start with Chase Adams, the striker from the Columbus Crew. He scored double-digit goals for Crew 2 in MLS Next Pro this season, and was a huge part of their attack in their run to the Eastern Conference Final, where they ultimately lost out to Union 2. He's been the number one striker for this age group for as long as I can remember now, and it should be the same in this tournament. Hopefully he can get a little bit better goal return, because honestly, his time with the U17s has been a little bit hit or miss, but I have no doubt that he'll probably score a few goals in this tournament against pretty weak opposition. Honestly, the opposition level that we play, especially in at least 2 of the games, is probably worse than what these players play against in MLS Next Pro or in MLS Next even. So honestly, there's no excuses if players don't play well. So look for Chase Adams to score a lot of goals. I expect he'll be the leading goal scorer of this team. Carrizo will probably be the leading assist maker. Now, Lorenzo Cornelius is also here, a winger from St. Louis City. He has been a pretty decently regular part of the U17s in the past, alongside Chance Cowell, the other winger here from the San Jose Earthquakes. Both of them are signed to deals, pro deals, I believe. Chance Cowell, I know, is a homegrown within the San Jose system. Of course, the brother of Cade, who was a key player for the Earthquakes, coming up through their youth ranks before making the move over to Chivas. Both these wingers they offer something a little bit different. Cornelius has been very productive at the level. Chance Cowell, as you would imagine, since he's related to Cade, he offers the physicality aspect of it, verticality as well. I mean, he's strong, he's physical, he's fast. Really, he should be a physical level above most of the opposition's defenders at this tournament. Jameer Johnson is a different type of winger, more of a silky, technical kind from the Philadelphia Union. He's going to look to beat players one-on-one off the dribble and probably be very successful with it. I'd say he's my top winger prospect that's actually in this camp. Obviously, Matthijs Albert from Dortmund is not here. He's a huge miss, but since he's not here, we have to judge on what we have. Jameer Johnson, I think, is probably the best winger that we have here in terms of right now, in terms of the ability and the potential as well. Very excited to see what he does and just see which wingers start in general. Axel Uriostegui is also here from Real Salt Lake. I suspect he'll be more of a rotational player. And then Tanner Rossbro from the New York Red Bulls. He formed a pretty decent strike partnership with fellow U17 eligible player Julian Hall, who is not here, wasn't released unfortunately. But Rossbro scored, I believe it was 8 goals for New York Red Bulls too in MLS Next Pro this past season. Very solid striker in his own right. I think he'll bag a few, even though he's probably not going to start the majority of the games. And, well, that's the roster. There's also 2 other alternates I didn't mention. Antonio Riquelme, an attacking midfielder from Real Salt Lake. And also Chase Nagel, a defensive midfielder type who's very versatile from the Chicago Fire. Again, the alternates probably won't see much action in this tournament, if any at all, but they're here in case of emergency and are still notable to be mentioned. A lot of big name absences here, as you can see, the likes of Matthijs Albert, Kevin Sullivan, Julian Hall, Nympha Berchimas. These type of players aren't here, as well as several others, of course, but at the end of the day, this roster is still very strong considering the level of opposition that we're playing. To be completely honest, we could have brought a C or a D team at this level and still probably breeze through the tournament. So anything bad that we see from these players, honestly, there's no excuses for, but I expect we'll see a lot of domination in these 3 games, a lot of fun performances from our players. So definitely make sure to keep an eye out for these games. Will be taking place over the next week. Again, let us know in the comments if you want to see post-match analysis for all of them. We'll, of course, have a recap of the tournament and highlight the notable players, the standouts, the disappointments when it's all said and done. But we'll see you in the next video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy the content, and we'll see you next time.